All right, thank you for staying with us. We'll talk about the state of the living spring, the state of the local government in Osun State, which sadly has been, the administration of local government activities have been halted for close to 8 months now, actually, and it's quite disturbing. But then, in the middle of that was the February 22 local government election that was conducted, and there were so many issues. It appeared like it was going on smoothly. Weeks before that particular election, February 22nd in Osun State, it was supposed to be the election that would produce, local government chairmen and councillors in Osun State, and a notification was given, for the statutory 1 year, 365 days or thereabout. And just before that, then there were agitations. There was a particular court order from an Akure, appeal court in Akure, and which the pronouncement of that judgment has been a source of debate, especially between the two main political parties in Osun State, the PDP and, of course, the APC, which made the APC to say that they now have the mandate of their own mandate back, stemming from that election that was done in 2022, actually. And, what happened after was quite unfortunate, because while they try, in their own words, to activate their mandate that have been given by the court again, like 6 or 7 persons lost their lives, in that back and forth. But then, even while that was ongoing, the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission said they are ready for election February 22nd. And days before that, there are different advisories. While some are saying, oh, the local councils are no longer vacant, there is no need for election. Some are saying it has either to be vacant, let the election go ahead. The man in charge at that time and still now is Barrister Hasheem Abioye, who said they were set, and he has the backing of the law to go ahead with everything that he was planning at the time. Just a day or thereabout before that election, or 2 days before that, there was an advisory from the Inspector General of Police saying that, maybe that election should not go ahead. There was an advisory from the AGF as well saying, it's better that that election will not hold. But the OSSIEC went ahead with it, but it didn't come without its own skirmishes. We learned, their state office headquarters was locked up. Maybe some of the staffers were arrested as well. And these are the issues. And, yesterday, we learned there's a new development where a federal high court sitting in Osogbo awarded 100 million naira in damages against the Inspector General of Police, the Nigerian Police Force, and the Police Service Commission over actions taken to halt the February 22, 2025 local government election in Osun State. That judgment delivered yesterday, Monday, by Justice A.A. Demiajayi held that the sealing of the OSSIEC offices and the arrest of his staff were unlawful, and the judge further ruled that the Nigerian police failed to present any law that had been breached to justify the actions taken against the electoral body prior to the poll. And he noted, that's Justice Demiajayi, evidence before the court showed that the local government election was conducted in line with the relevant provisions, the Electoral Act 2022 and other enabling laws. The suit was filed by OSSIEC and its chairman, Barrister Hasheem Abioye. And we have Barrister Hasheem Abioye here. He's the chairman of OSSIEC. OSSIEC is the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission. He joins us virtually. Barrister, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Femi. Good morning, my sister over there. Yeah. Good morning, Osun State.
Sir. All right, and you must be a happy man this morning, isn't it? Because this has favored you, the court ruling has favored you, and your commission, that's OSSIEC. For some will say, are you a fulfilled man this morning, knowing that maybe Jesus justified your position all along, or you just feel it's just the Lord that has taken his course?
Well, I've always been happy. I've never been a sad person. Oh, sorry, 1 minute, please.
Yeah.
Oh, they took the light.
Yeah.
All 1 minute, please.
No problem.
So we get illumination. Sorry.
All right. So why you do that? It's something of concern at that time because because of the political what they say higi haga at that time. So we're saying that because of that particular court judgment, the APC laid to the claim that now their mandate has been restored. So there's no more vacancy at that. That was February 22nd. And all of a sudden, because I remember they were part of the party that signified to be part of that election. And just because of that court ruling, they said there's no need for that. So, they stepped away from that election saying they are now in charge. And the PDP are saying, no, you remain out because there was a court judgment that sacked all of you. They call them yes or no election people. All right, Barrister Hasheem, are you with us now?
Yes, thank you very much. So, as I was saying, I've always been a happy person. So, I'm never a sad man. Yeah. But you said that whether I'm fulfilled by that judgment, but I would only say that justice has been served, like I commented yesterday, that, every one of us is writing history. And what happened the twilight of our local government election will go down in history, that the police attempted recklessly to stifle a constitutional authority. Like the court said, the police is a constitutional institution. OSSIEC is also a constitutional institution. And the duty of the police is to provide security for all citizens. But the police turned against us and played the cards of some desperate politicians to do what they did. And up till today, there was no single provision of any law that the police pointed to that we actually violated. In their defense to the suit, they said they suspected that our staff violated some electoral laws, some provisions of the electoral law, but they could not substantiate those provisions that were allegedly breached. And if you said some staff of the commission were suspected to have breached some provisions of the electoral law, what about the commission itself to have warranted the sealing of the office? But the issue is what you know is that the Inspector General of Police, the Attorney General of Federation, both of them played the card of some desperate politician, but they did so recklessly. But history has a way of speaking, and when history speaks, it will speak loudly, audibly, and history also writes. And when it writes indelibly and legibly. So history has written it that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Egbetokun, took some illegal steps by attempting to stifle grassroots democracy in Osun State. And I want to tell you that what the Inspector General of Police did and the Attorney General of Federation did was what brought democratic institutions at the local government level in Osun State to its needs as we have it today, which is an unfortunate situation. But as for us, we are not, as an umpire, we are not politicians, but they allowed some politicians to prevail on them instead of allowing reason to prevail on them. They allowed some desperate politicians to prevail on them, and they did what they did to us. But I said when I was asked about my reaction for what the police did then, I said I left both the IGP and the ADF to God, for God to judge. So that judgment has started manifesting now. That's my position then. I started manifesting. So the Inspector General of Police They came, not that the matter was undefended. They came to defend the suit, but the court found their position, their defense lame and not grounded in law at all, and not grounded in law and reason, and the court slammed them with cost. Some people said maybe I'm happy because of the 100 million damage. It's not about the award of the monetary award, is about justice, that justice has been served. And the court retreated it severally, that from the evidence before the court, that we placed before the court, there was nothing that stopped us from conducting that election. We did not do any illegality. And up to today, I say it, I still maintain it, but I did not do any illegality. So if anyone out there is saying that, oh, I saw some comments on the social media yesterday about being there in my local council, it's not about going to the council. I'm not the one to go to the council. I'm not the elected chairman. But all we know is that there are elected chairmen and councillors whom we have given certificate of return and who are the legitimate authorities over the local government councils in Osun State.
Barrister Hasheem. All right, we'll try and establish that connection again, because it is what it is at this time. Barrister Abioye, are you still with us? All right, we'll try and establish that connection, because it's not all right. Yeah, okay.
Hello?
All right, are you with us now, sir?
Yes, I'm very much with you. I'm very much. There was an interruption. So I'm saying that the legitimate authority over the local government councils in Osun State today, in the eyes of the law, and even in fact, were those elected on the 22nd February 2025. Nobody can dispute that. The only person that can dispute that are those that are hiding behind the federal might or whatever.
There's been a lot of, Barrister, there's been a lot of back and forth about this particular point you just raised about the elected chairman of February 2022 being the legitimate ones that are supposed to be there. The court, people have been saying that the judgment was not straightforward. There have been a lot of interpretations, misinterpretations. We do not know which one, is actually, credible. So, are you going to tell us or walk us through, some of these things, help us understand from a legal point of view now what the judgment actually says?
You have actually made the point that there have been misinterpretations, and I want to tell you that those misinterpretations were deliberate misinterpretations and reckless twisting. That's just it. The courts, in two separate judgments, sacked the so-called yes or no. So let me call it yes or no, so that people will understand. Sacked the yes or no. They appealed the two judgments. They abandoned one appeal. They pursued one. The one they pursued, the court said the suit was not right, as at the time the case was instituted, and the court struck it out. No more. Let us even take it that since the court struck it out, that means the position remained as it was in the beginning. That means that those that were purportedly elected then were still in office, right? Let's take it that way. What about the other judgment that's equally sacked them? They did not pursue that appeal. The court dismissed their appeal. So dismissal of an appeal means that the judgments of the court appealed against is still validly subsisting. Is that not? So after that, they went to the court to have that appeal that was dismissed relisted, and the court dismissed that application again, refused the application, and affirmed that the election conducted by us, that's a judicial pronouncement, a clear judicial pronouncement. So what do you want to say again when the court has said, Court of Appeal for that matter, has said that fresh elections have been conducted and new executives at the local government councils have been sworn in? That what is more, that is just a waste of time for these people to now wake up after 2 years to say they wanted to pursue an appeal which had been dismissed. So if the court had said that, so what again? So it is an attempt to swap a dead baby for a living baby. That's just it. What I'm saying in essence is that some people had a dead baby. We have a living baby. They are now trying to force their dead baby on us, which we resisted, and that was our offense before the commission. I mean, before the Inspector General of Police, the Commissioner of Police, and all.
Using your analogy, who is the one with the dead baby and the one with
those yes or no are the ones with the dead baby. The dead baby is the election, the purported election that was conducted in 2020, which the court nullified. The court had nullified it. Yeah. That the APC, they are the one carrying the dead baby. We have a living baby. They are now trying to swap their own dead baby, to force their own dead baby on us and take away our own living baby, which they are trying to do, but they cannot succeed. I know that for sure. You know, this thing is about politics. But they drag us into it.
By us, you mean what? Force it on us. Who is the us? Yeah, the PDP.
I mean OSSIEC.
Or the OSSIEC.
I mean OSSIEC. What I mean is that OSSIEC conducted 2 elections. Yes.
Okay.
The court said one was not in existence at all. One was never an election. I think you got my point. Yeah. That means the election never existed. So let's count that as the dead baby. Okay? We conducted another one. The court sanctioned it. I mean, the court validated it up to the Court of Appeal. The court gave us, apart from giving 1 year notice, and we are talking about a full length of notice. Go check all the local government elections being conducted all over the country. One of the states, if not the only state, okay, I can also talk of Oyo and Ondo State, but the state that gave 1 year full length of notice, and Osun State. Apart from those 2 states, we gave 1 year full length of notice. We gave notice in 2024, February 2024, and we conducted the election in February 2025. That's 1 full year. I think you are getting my point now. So not that we rushed to conduct the election. And when there were agitations here and there that the election should not be conducted, the courts, the High Court of Osun State, my Lord Honorable Justice A. Aderigbe, said the radar was clear for OSSIEC to conduct the election. Apart from the fact that preparations were already at top gear, and in the history of Osun State, it was that election that all the political parties, including the APC that we are talking about now, participated until 48 hours to the election, when the APC, pulled out that they said they were no longer going ahead with the election. They already nominated candidates and all that, and they paid for nomination forms, even though it was on credit, but they later paid for it and all that. But 48 hours to the election, they said they said they were no longer going ahead with the election, and all we saw was the police came to our premises, and we had been friends. Like I said, we fed them, gave them food, give them drinks and all that. So we were together, and they came under the guise of providing security for us. So it was a friendly and a very cool atmosphere until 24 hours to the election, and they said the IG had ordered that the election should not be conducted and that our office be sealed.
All right, Barrister.
So what I'm saying is that election of 2022 was the dead baby I'm referring to. Okay. Why that of 2025 that we conducted is the living baby. So these people now are now trying to force that dead baby on us, and I'm saying it cannot work, and it is not going to work. Whatever federal power, whatever federal might anyone is using today, it will definitely fizzle out one day. This situation will abate one day. I know that definitely, and I've said it, that posterity will judge me, and posterity has started judging.
All right, Barrister, thank you. We'll be taking a quick break now. When we return, we'll talk about the pieces of evidence that was, placed before the court to actually convince the courts that yes, the police actually violated the fundamental human rights on that day. Stay with us.
Home in your color and culture.
You're welcome back to Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Well, we've been talking about the Osun local government clampdown. The court has awarded 100 million naira in damages against the police. And we are here with Barrister Hasheem Abioye, the chairman of OSSIEC, Osun State Independent Electoral Commission. You're welcome back on board, Barrister.
All right.
Barrister, are you there?
Can you please unmute your mic?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so before we went on that break, I was going to ask you that on this particular issue now, what pieces of evidence that OSSIEC, placed before the court that's enough, the police violated fundamental rights, and then despite their claim of credible intelligence?
Well, thank you very much. I will break it down. If you have a matter before you are to approach the court, you must gather your facts and get your evidence. We approach the court. There are so many options available to us. Right. One of the options, in approaching the court, one of the options, and we think the fastest, was to use the fundamental rights that by sealing up our office and by arresting our members, that it's direct infringement on the fundamental rights of the commission, of its staff, of its members, and all that. So we placed before the court that what we did, that the police interfered with unlawfully, illegally, was that we gave a notice of election, and that notice of election was placed before the court, and that we had schedule of activities. That is, the same notice of election contained schedule of activities. We placed that before the court as well. We placed before the courts the judgment of the court of Lord Justice Aderigbe that declared that there were vacancies and that OSSIEC should go ahead to fill the vacancies, that the procedure and the processes OSSIEC had embarked upon were legal and lawful, and that the radar was clear for us to go ahead with the conduct of the election. We placed that before the court. And we placed before the courts the effort of the media, the reports in the media, in newspapers and all that. And we placed it also before the court, for the court to see that not that we made wide allegations against them. This is not a matter of insinuations, but it's a matter of hard evidence before the court. We placed all of that before the court, and the court came to the conclusion that our evidence was overwhelming, that the pieces of evidence we supplied. Hello, hope I'm communicating?
Yes.
And that the police merely said that they suspected that some electoral offenses had been committed without any substantiation at all. So if there were any offenses that were committed, any electoral offenses that were committed, it should be, if there was any violation at all, it should be our own law. They never pointed to any provision of our own law or any provision of the Constitution or any provision of the Electoral Act, for that matter, that we violated. So to have warranted the sealing of our office. So those were the pieces of evidence that the courts relied on. Not that the court just came to a general conclusion as that. The court was referring to each of the pieces of evidence before the court, particularly that judgment of Lord Justice Aderigbe, that there was a court order that cleared the way for us to conduct. Even without that court order, we were good to conduct the election because there were vacancies, and the notice of election we gave was in line with the provision of the law. So, like I said, the police merely did the job of some only executed the assignment given to them by some desperate politicians who wanted to swap a dead baby with a living baby. They wanted to force on us to accept a dead baby, which we are not going to accept. So, irrespective of what is happening today, like I said, at the local government level in Osun State, we all know the fact, we all know the truth, and they too know it, that those who are the legitimate authority over the local government council in Osun State today are those elected on 22nd February 2025.
All right, Barrister, many people would ask that we know that 100 million naira in damages has been awarded, which we're not even sure they're going to pay. You're going to tell us, how that will go. But now, is it just the damages that will be awarded? Would there be any, internal disciplinary actions against the police, for having done this? What's going to happen?
It's not only about the damages. I said it.
Yes.
But, it's the damages that gain traction on the media.
Yes.
So, but the courts declared their action illegal.
Okay.
The court restrained them from further tampering with our fundamental rights. And the courts awarded damages. So the release before the court that the court granted were declaratory and compensatory and injunctive. Declaratory, injunctive, and compensatory.
Okay.
So, and that is enough for us. The court said they should not interfere in our constitutional duties as well again. The police authority is a constitutional institution. We all know that. And OSSIEC is a constitutional body as well. Go and check the constitution. It is not the OSSIEC, a state electoral body is not a creation of any state law per se. The state law only gives flesh to what the constitution has provided. Executive bodies established in the constitution, state executive bodies established in the constitution for each state are four: the Judicial Service Commission of the State, Civil Service Commission of the State Independent Electoral Commission, and the House of Assembly. House of Assembly Commission. Those were the four constitutional institutions, executive bodies established by the Constitution. So if the police authority is a constitutional institution and OSSIEC, a state electoral body like ours, is a constitutional institution, why would the police now attempt to people not enough?
All right, we'll try and reconnect.
Hello?
Yeah. Are you with us?
All right.
Hello, so sorry.
All right, while you answer, I remember this action of the Nigerian police was predicated on this advice, that you have on your screen now. If you can have it again, where the police IGP said, a press release made on 21st of February, press release, Osun LG election. Intelligence report indicates high security threats and volatility. And it reads that the Nigerian police force has received credible intelligence indicating a high likelihood of violence and significant security threat should the planned local government elections proceed in Osun State. This report gathered from joint intelligence gathering revealed that various groups, including political elements and other interest parties, are mobilizing to instigate unrest, disrupt public peace, and undermine the democratic order. Given this imminent threat to security, the Nigeria Police Force strongly advises the Osun State government to suspend the planned elections forthwith in the interest of public safety and national stability, and other things. So there are some persons that are saying the police owe it a duty, to make sure there is security of lives and property. And they said they talked about their reason that the reports have been gathered from joint intelligence gathering, which reveal that some groups, various persons, including political elements, are mobilizing against the unrest. So, looking back at the place and the intention of the police, they have a job to do, isn't it? And that's why they feel they will do everything to make sure that the public is safe. And so that might be open-ended, and they went ahead to do whatever they wanted to do. Will you hold them culpable for that? They have a duty, isn't it?
Well, let me tell you this. When they came up with that intelligence, you will see that before they came with that story that you just narrated now, there had been a document circulated from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation saying that a particular set of people had been reinstated and that we should not go ahead with the election. when we issued a statement that no, nothing will stop the election, because the judgment he referred to did not in any way bring these people back to office, and that he should look at another subsisting judgment of the court, which actually sacked them, that so that our vacancy will go ahead with the election. That was when they now came with another plan. And they came up with that plan, and that plan was what you just read out now. Police said, they said all that they said in that report that you just read out. You covered the election. Hello?
Hold on, sir. You are saying
your organization covered the election.
Chairman, what you are saying, because we have less than 6 minutes or thereabout, we still have so many questions. Yes, so we'll be fast with it. So you are saying Itato, either the advice of the AGF or the police advice, both were politically motivated and they were working for a particular cause.
Yes, reckless political propaganda. And they fell for it, and it was unfortunate that both the AGF and the IGP fell for that, and they worked towards that. But God, in His wisdom, assisted us by allowing us to conduct the election freely and fairly. We distributed the election materials far ahead of the date of the election, and you will see that the election went on smoothly, to the extent that the police, after the election, came and praise their men for the peaceful conduct of the election, for their conduct during the election. And you know, the police PPRO, the then police PRO who issued the statement authoritatively, was later to be posted out of the state for doing that. And it was all propaganda, not that she did any illegal job.
All right, Chairman.
Throughout the election, there was no single incident of violence. The election went on peacefully and smoothly. So they only did what they did, they knew what they did.
All right,
but God Almighty vindicated us.
Yeah, you know, there is this question that will always come up, and I'd like to ask you conscientiously this morning about your political leaning. Actually, you were a politician, and you have said, okay, you are no more a politician, but up to 2023, you are a card-carrying member of the PDP. In fact, you contested the election. You call it Ori 2023. A fellow state constituency in the House, Osun State House of Assembly. And there are some that will say, with that toga, actually, that you wore at a point, that maybe that might be something you have to bear for your entire career as OSSIEC is concerned. Because for some people who say, you are part of this party, and this party is always seeking for the election, and you have worn that toga, you have dined, you have done all these things up to 2 years ago, and now you are saying you are apolitical. Does it bother you that that might be a toga that you might wear for life?
It's never a bother to me, because
second guess whatever you do.
It's never a bother to me.
All right.
At all, because in all conscience, honesty, I think you are getting me.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
A call came to disrupt. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
In all conscience and in all honesty, and to the satisfaction of my own internal peace, I'm no longer a member of any political party. And as at the time I took up the job of OSSIEC, I had dropped the toga of a politician. So be it. If anyone still believes that.
How about for the sake of transparency and public output and the credibility of whatever you do? Because Mr. Chairman, I don't see your conscience. Temitope here doesn't see your conscience. Now, the job that you do is being paid for, from the public funds. And the public, if they don't see you in that light, don't you think the credibility will always be questioned every time? Because we can't see your conscience.
Let me tell you this. If you want to challenge the credibility of the process, that is another thing entirely. Okay? You talk about the fact, and you talk about the law, you talk about the process. That is how to challenge the credibility of the process. What you what you need to talk about, or what you are talking about now, is my own personal integrity, not about the credibility of the process. I think you are getting my point now.
So the credibility of the umpire doesn't matter. Is that what you're saying?
No. What if we are talking about credibility? You don't take the issue of credibility as a lone issue with respect to a particular person, a particular individual like myself that you are referring to now. I think you are getting my point now. If you are talking about credibility, we are talking about the entire process, the whole process, the fact, the law, the procedure, the processes. Did they align with the position of the law? Were they in line with the law? That's about credibility. What you are talking about is my personal integrity. I think you are getting my point now. And it is not an issue that anyone will raise such. But what I'm telling you is that the fact that I was before and that I am no longer now does not mean that you will have to go all over in search of an angel to man our electoral bodies. That is just my submission. If an angel is brought today to man an electoral body, definitely people will still talk. Right. Let me tell you this: the chairman, immediate past chairman of OSSIEC, was a member of the APC, attending APC rallies, attending APC meetings. You have never seen me attending any political party. I have never attended any political party meeting and all that. I think you understand what I mean now. So that one now, nobody is talking about that. I think you are getting my point now. So now it came to this turn, and it was part of the shenanigan that was packaged and that made the police to do what they did. But what you said now was what some politicians, reckless politicians, desperate politicians packaged and they submitted to the police.
All right, Barrister. All right, Barrister.
The court has served justice now.
All right, Barrister, on a lighter note now, we're about to end the show. Does OSSIEC intend to pursue other civil, actions, to, in case, the police delays or defaults in taking action on what the court judgment is?
Of course, on enforcement of the judgment, the judgment of the court will not go in vain. So we are going to take steps to ensure that the judgment is enforced. So the police institution is always there as well for the enforcement. So we take steps towards enforcing the judgment.
All right, we are totally out of time, but so many questions to ask. That glitch, you really took our time. But it's my part in short is this: does it bother you that what the OSSIEC did under your leadership, the result, the aftermath of it, has been utterly useless right now? And I'm picking my words carefully. From 22nd of February to November 18, you have not, that mandate that was returned, that was administered by OSSIEC, it has been rendered useless. Does it bother you?
It is never a useless venture. There is a matter before the Supreme Court now.
Okay.
Isn't it? Regarding the leadership.
Nobody is benefiting. That's why I use that word. Nobody is benefiting.
Let me tell you this, and that is not for OSSIEC to answer.
That's why I'm asking if it bothers you.
So now, hello?
Yes,
no one will be happy. No one will be happy that a baby that you delivered. Hello?
Yes, Randolph, please.
A baby that you deliver healthily, peacefully, okay, is not being allowed to live his life the way he ought to live his life. But definitely the baby will survive and he will definitely live his life.
All right.
He will definitely live his dreams. That is all I will say.
Even when the baby is not, crying when he's supposed to cry, crawl when he's supposed to crawl, run when he's supposed to crawl.
The baby is healthy.
All right.
The baby is living.
All right.
The baby
think, Barrister, we have to
only
go.
being denied his right, and the baby definitely will live his dreams.
All right. And I think you have some affinity with babies, because some of your analogies have gone with babies this morning.
So that is the best analogy I can give.
All right.
That is just I love babies.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Barrister Hasheem Abioye, the chairman of Osun State Independent Electoral Commission. Thank you for your time, Ayeti.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. This is the size of the program. Femi Ojo is my name. God bless Osun State. God bless Nigeria.
All right, my name is Temitope Ajijola Oluwaola. Meet us tomorrow for the midweek installment. And until then, stay safe, stay lawful.